Warriors! If there is a video that you watch all the way through, I highly recommend you just shut everything down, listen to this video. I believe there is a Black Swan event coming. This is not to scare you, not to create fear. It's just to understand that it's nothing new under the sun. This has happened over and over again in history. History does not repeat itself, it often rhymes. My name is Coach JV. I am the top health and mindset coach in the world. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. Now, Warriors, if you want to be surrounded by a like-minded group of people, get access to my portfolio, exit strategy, crypto calls, 120-day challenge for discipline, subconscious mind programming, goal setting, vision board creation, everything you need to be successful. But number one, surround yourself with a like-minded community where you can get support, to get help. Click the link down below to join our private Warrior Academy. Now listen to me. I need you to listen to this video, and you have to watch this all the way through. We're going to watch some longer videos, Warriors. But everything I've said financially over the last year has pretty much come true. In regards to cryptocurrency, people said that we're in the bear market. I said, we're not in the bear market. We're going to come back. It came back. Were the dates always correct? No. But what I'll tell you, Warriors, is there's a reason why billionaires, and now I'm getting access to people who are close to, that have multi millions. They are not doing what the normal everyday folks do. They're not sitting there worried about their 401k. They're not stacking money in their 401k. They are buying assets. Now, I'm going to take you through a journey, Warriors. I'm going to take you through a journey through a company called Palantir. Palantir, I can't pronounce things well. I shouldn't even say that into the universe, but we're going to watch a video, a 7-minute video. Please watch all the way through. And then after the video, I'm going to take you step by step on what I think is happening, okay? Now, this video was found on how it happened. I'd highly recommend you go subscribe. Let me subscribe right now. Give me a shout out here. I'll subscribe, okay? I'm already subscribed. Okay, so we'll go here, and then we go to what is Palantir and what does it do? Okay, now this video, if you want to watch the full video, you can go subscribe to the channel. But I thank them for making this video because this is going to be remarkable. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to watch this whole video, and then I'm going to take you step by step what's happening and some announcements that have been made very recently, Warriors. There is a financial black swan coming. Just my opinion, not financial advice. I'm just some dude that's giving you the information. So don't trust a word I say. You have access to all this, but follow all the way through. Now, why is it important that so I'm going to go backwards into this so you watch the whole thing, okay? I'm going to present to you what this company does, and I'm going to show you what they're doing right now. Get ready.
We often consider that personal data to be private and like to think that nobody ever sees it. But one company has built itself around our data, tracking anyone and everyone in order to stop terrorist attacks, spot tax evasion, and so much more. You might have heard of Palantir thanks to their recent stock market listing, which has seen the share price rise by almost 200% just 2 months after IPO. But few people know the intricate details around the company, and that's on purpose. How did a surveillance software company gain clients like the CIA, BP, and Airbus, seeing it rise to a valuation of almost $50 billion? Here's how it happened. Palantir is essentially a firm that builds software, allowing organizations to integrate data, decisions, and operations into one platform, enabling organizations to answer complex questions quickly using that data. But before we dive into that, it's important to dissect the two men at the heart of the organization. Peter Thiel, who's probably best known in the involvement with PayPal and Facebook, and Alex Karp, one of Thiel's longtime friends. The pair met at Stanford Law School back in the day, both living in the same building, attending the same classes, and in their own words, constantly sparring each other, partially thanks to their opposite political views. The pair now own roughly 20% of the firm, making Karp a billionaire along with Thiel. But why Palantir? Well, it's a nod to J.R.R. Tolkien, whose Palantir in Lord of the Rings is an indestructible ball of crystal used for communication and to see events in the past or future that allow the holder to gaze across vast distances to track friends or foes. Thiel, the chairman, and Karp, the CEO, launched the business after 9/11 using fraud recognition software that Thiel had designed for PayPal, thanks to the virtual wallet company losing around $10 million a month in credit card fraud. Using human analysts who could analyze suspicious data, Teal swapped it out to stop terrorist attacks instead by finding them through their financial transactions. In 2004, teaming up with old PayPal engineers and Stanford graduates like Joe Lonsdale and Stephen Cohen, Teal bankrolled the firm. To begin with, they struggled to attract investors, suggesting that they might need some grey hair to win over investors in the long term. Stories of Sequoia Capital's chairman, Michael Moritz, drawing and doodling through a funding meeting says all you need to know, that the firm's seemingly allergic to serious investors. That's where In-Q-Tel comes in. Another thing that might surprise you, and you probably haven't heard of it, but In-Q-Tel is the CIA's venture capital business, who threw Palantir a $2 million.
Okay, so there's some key factors I want to bring to your attention. This is software that predicts the future, the past, and allows people to build models so you can protect your company or you can make the next move.
Lifeline. But that wasn't In-Q-Tel's only role, as they developed programs around which Palantir could build its own intelligence technology software in order to fulfill its vision of intelligence augmentation, where human analysts could examine data from a wide array of sources. Getting into the CIA's good books then saw Palantir attract other suitors within secret organizations, who were keen to follow a method they used to help lift PayPal off the ground by paying people to use the product. The problem with that is that it was illegal to bribe government officials, so they took a different route. Palantir provided software training to members of the army in Iraq and Afghanistan, which not only taught them how to use it, but created demand from other soldiers who wanted in on the action and made the technology indispensable. But what exactly was the software that these guys were being trained on? Well, Palantir is able to ingest mountains of data and find hidden relationships which could uncover terrorist cells and anticipate future attacks. Translating mountains.
Keyword, anticipate future attacks. Think about this technology and what they're able to find out about the future based on data, mathematics, people.
Of data into simple and usable information. And as it creates customizable solutions for its clients, they have coders who will make a tailored piece of software for your needs, sending forward deployed engineers to work with organizations themselves to turn messy information into a map for future success, using a slick interface and human-driven, machine-assisted analysis. Palantir now works for governments aiding in disaster response, or, as they've turned to in recent times,
Okay, now work for governments and disaster response. So they're highly connected with the CIA. You saw this, okay? Now do your own research, but just think about these key factors as we go into the next rest of this. This video is going to go for a while. Just pay attention.
The clients who need to solve financial crime or figure out what to do with all the data they have on their customers and how to protect it. By 2011, Bloomberg called the company an indispensable tool employed by the US intelligence community in the war on terrorism. By 2015, it was valued at about $20 billion. But rewinding to 2010, and Palantir received their first corporate customer, with JP Morgan being referred by the NY.
Okay, so JP Morgan started their own cryptocurrency company. Think about this, words. Pay attention. JP Morgan started their own cryptocurrency company when they told us Bitcoin was a fraud in 2017.
To help with the bank's fraud problems, unwinding its distressed mortgage portfolios and addressing cyber fraud, which has helped save the firm hundreds of millions of dollars. As you would expect, a company that harvests data is considered controversial and unethical by nature. Not only do they monitor the activities of innocent people around the world, they often target undocumented illegal immigrants rather than focusing on the fight against terrorism. They've had issues with private clients who complain about the opaque terms of service and failing to deliver products, and have been known to be sat in the same room as government officials discussing contracts and their dollar amounts, giving the firm a strong advantage in the bidding process. They've also been embroiled in a WikiLeaks scandal as one of their former members of staff agreed to work with WikiLeaks to reveal sensitive documents from Bank of America. But by using Palantir, all engineers leave an immutable log, a trail that can be followed, meaning that nobody can be a ghost on the system. These are just a handful of problems that have seen many critics call for more accountability from the firm. That controversy didn't stop the firm going public in September 2020, which saw the share price grow by almost 200% in just 2 months, and now the business is valued at around $40 billion. The thinking is that despite the firm making a loss every year with ever-increased spending, the data integration with 3-letter government agencies is so complex that they almost can't afford to drop Palantir as a client. Others think this might make the firm more transparent, as they'll have to cooperate with regulators. But some people think that due to the sensitive nature of government data and information, it will never truly be transparent.
Now, this is all speculation, but think about what they just said. They lose money every single year, but some reason they don't shut down.
Through its Gotham and Foundry products, one for governments and the other for corporates, they've been able to develop products which can automatically detect objects in videos and heat maps for the US troops on the ground. They've also been credited with detecting spyware on the Dalai Lama's computer, unraveling the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme, and even helping to hunt down Osama bin Laden. But CARP has come out saying that that's one of those stories we're not allowed to comment about, with Palantir receiving credit for work they may or may not have done. Despite Palantir coming across as a revolutionary bit of software, it still requires rooms full of people working behind the scenes to clean and interpret data, and is won contracts purely by looking prettier than the other software, with a slicker interface. It raises the question of whether the business is a software company, or is it a consulting firm, or is it both? It's worth remembering that the Palantir seeing stones from Lord of the Rings were often...
All right, Warriors. So that's the beginning of the journey. If you're still watching, let's go down the rabbit hole. Okay, so now I was watching Lynette Zhang's video. She's one of my favorite. This is where I buy my silver, not financial advice, ITM trading. They're actually here in Arizona, but they'll ship it all over the United States. So this is where I buy my silver. But Lynette Zhang's been in the business for like 25 years. And it's so wild. Somebody asked a question about it, but I want you to listen to what she says about the Palantir.
It looks to me like they're starting to lose it. As soon as it comes in, that creates the hyperinflation. Right. When it's losing too much value too quickly, and that's the problem. It's all about perception. Every con game needs confidence.
Give me 1 second. I'll get to the questions.
That's a requirement. NW asks, can you comment on the recent purchase by Palantir of 51 million worth of gold bars? I know they bought 100 ounce gold bars, a whole bunch of them. Yep. According to them, it's in expectation of a black swan event. Yep. And they also said that they will accept gold in payment for their software programs. So, this is not the first entity to do this. It was also, Overstock bought a whole bunch of gold coins so that they could pay their people in it. But that's the point, right? The whole world is starting to really wake up to how dead this system really is. And it really died back in 2008. I've said that ever since 2008. And they put it on life support, but the life support really isn't working very well. So next week, I'm finally going to finish the report and get that out on quantitative easing, because that's the life support mechanism that they're using from the House of Lords in England regarding the Bank of England's quantitative easing program. And I cannot wait to show you guys that, because...
Okay, so think about this. On the 23rd at the SDR level, they're going to start printing words. So I highly recommend you subscribe to ITM Trading. This is where I get my silver, not financial advice, just where I get my silver. I love this company. Okay, so go watch that whole video. Okay, so let's dive into it now. I took you on a long journey, but it says right here, Peter Thiel's Palantir now accepting Bitcoin payments, thinking about treasury investments. In a Tuesday earnings call, CFO Dave Glazer said Bitcoin on the balance sheet is definitely on the table. Palantir Technologies is open for business when it comes to Bitcoin, CFO Dave Glazer said in the company's Tuesday earnings calls. The publicly traded software company has begun accepting crypto as a form of payment. He said additionally, investing in Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset is definitely on the table. Palantir would hardly be the first big data company with Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Analytics competitors say MicroStrategy's also publicly traded. It's over 2 billion deep in digital gold. Tesla accepts Bitcoin and invests 1.5 billion in it. This is the company that has predictive models that can predict what's going to happen in the future. Okay. Palantir buy gold bars as hedge against black swan event. This is all happening right now, Warriors. The company spent $50.7 million this month on gold, part as an unusual investment strategy that is also includes startups, blank check companies, and possibly Bitcoin. Palantir has previously said it would accept Bitcoin as a form of payment. A spokeswoman at Palantir, hopefully I'm saying that right, Palantir said no one has yet done so. Okay. If we go here now, of course, you know me, I go deep down the rabbit hole. That's what I was doing all night last night. I got to get some sleep. Okay, so Palantir Technology. So this is their profile, okay? If you go here, and I'm going to show with you what the billionaires are doing preparing for a black swan. Okay, if you go here, if you look at Palantir and I type, or I click on 7 lead investors, the number 1 lead investor is ARK Investment. Okay, let's jump over to ARK Investments, Kathy Woods. Okay, so now we're going to go, this is Kathy Woods from ARK Investments. She is a juggernaut in the investment space. So go subscribe to ARK Investments. These are all things you should be listening to, Warriors. Okay, I'm going to show you what billionaires are doing, not what multimillionaires are doing, what billionaires are doing with their money. So we're going to listen to the end of her video, and then I'm going to show you some other billionaires and what they're doing with their money. So they are gold, silver, cryptocurrency, assets.
That are coming out, and Tesla's basically there just reminding everybody that, you know, these companies think they have an autonomous truck business. Just you wait. And I was happy to see that, actually. And then finally, I just want to, on the crypto side, address a question that we've been getting quite frequently. You can tell how convinced we are that deflation is the higher probability. And we know that's way out of consensus, and that's where we like to be. But many wonder how we could be positive at all about Bitcoin if we're not worried about inflation. Well, I think 08, 09 is a very good reason why. Why did 08, 09 almost melt the financial world down? It did so because of counterparty risk.
This is really important. What was Lynette Zhang talking about? 2008. What have I always talked about? 2008. Listen to this, really important.
And what we've just seen in the crypto market is really interesting. It's been cut in half, 2 trillion to 1 trillion, the ecosystem.
Now, this video was in July. This one, when everything collapsed down. It collapsed in May, but this video is in July.
In the last few months, just cut in half. Can you imagine what would happen if our asset equity prices, bond prices were cut in half in the span of a few months with all the leverage out there? I think we'd be in a counterparty risk problem again, a big mess. Maybe not as big of a mess as we were in 08, 09, because there have been some changes. But I do not believe that our financial world would withstand a 50% drop as easily as the DeFi world has. DeFi, while a lot of people who were leveraged 100 times elsewhere in the world were wiped out. I think, I'm going to get this number wrong, it was either 86,000 or 860,000 accounts wiped out. DeFi didn't skip a beat. I don't think we could say that for...
Okay, so what I'm interpreting this, and please comment below, let me know what you think, is she's sharing with us the crypto market collapsed by 50%, but it still withstood. Anything that doesn't have value will not withstand a 50% collapse. It is proving that cryptocurrency is valuable. It has value. The DeFi world that is connected to something, crypto to me is an asset-backed currency because it's backed by its technology. That's why it didn't collapse. Okay, that's why it didn't completely collapse by dropping 50%. What she's saying, if the stock market collapsed by 50%, it would be catastrophic. It would be catastrophic to our world. Absolutely catastrophic. Okay, so crypto-friendly bank backed by Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway's plans $2 billion IPO on the NASDAQ. We know that Warren Buffett, he says he's not in Bitcoin. It's not on his balance sheet, but he bought into Nubank, which is a cryptocurrency-friendly bank. So maybe he's not buying Bitcoin, but he sure as hell is closing out of most bank stocks and investing in what she talked about, DeFi, fintech, decentralized finance. That company, Nubank, they know what's going on. He bought into it, and all of a sudden they're IPOing on the NASDAQ. Warriors, wake up. We are heading into a DeFi world. You are invested in some of the best assets in the world. Make sure you have a game plan, Warriors, okay? Then we go over to Twitter, Michael Saylor. If you're trying to improve your balance sheet, my best idea is Bitcoin. If you're trying to improve your technology, My best idea is lightning. And I'll leave you with this, okay? The Warren Buffett indicator. I'm going to keep bringing this up. Now, the Warren Buffett indicator is the valuation of the stock market. The Warren Buffett indicator right now is this was as of August 12th, 2021. The Warren Buffett indicator is at 238%. The stock market is valued, in his opinion, and I'll give you my perception of this and how he values this. So it's overvalued by 238%. So you have your annualized GDP, gross domestic product. So that is the value of the products, services. If we sold everything in America, that's how much we could get, right? But we have a stock market that's valued at $54.8 trillion. So do you see a massive gap in between the two? So what you do is you take 54.8 trillion, which is the aggregated US value of the stock market. You divide it by the annualized GDP, which gives you 238%. So the difference between these two is the fact that we have companies that are worth billions and billions and billions of dollars that have zero value, that have no value. They have not added any value to our economy. We have companies just like Japan in 1980 to 1990. They went through a ghost, I think it's called the ghost economy, if I'm saying that correctly. It's basically there's so much money pumped into the system that you have all these businesses that are surviving that should not be open. No disrespect, but they shouldn't be open. They are surviving by PPP money. They're surviving by loans, just tons of helicopter money coming into the system, and they're sitting back surviving off all this stimulus money, okay? So we're in this position right now where there's an overvalued stock market, but what do? You don't do what they say, you do what they do. The billionaires are running to gold, silver, and crypto. That's what they're doing, Warriors. And they're buying more companies. That's exactly what they're doing. So guess what? At a smaller scale, much smaller scale, obviously, that's what I'm doing. I'm mimicking exactly what they're doing. I'm heavy in the cryptocurrency space. I've been buying silver. I'm actually going through my LBO training to start buying corporations that are in the fear index, baby boomers that are in the fear index that are super high right now, and they want out, companies that survive the test of time. I'm cash poor and I'm asset somewhat rich. I would consider myself more money than I've ever had in my life. And so I'm continuing to keep this ecosystem going. I'm watching what the billionaires are doing, not what they're saying. Okay. Ray Dalio says cash is trash, one of the top economists in the world, Warriors. So you can sit back and you can believe what you want. I'm not trying to get you to believe anything. I'm trying to get you to wake up to the awareness of what's happening right now, Warriors. Do I believe there's a financial black swan coming? Absolutely. Absolutely. Nothing new under the sun. This is nothing new. You shouldn't be shocked. We got the 7-year Shemitah. We got the 50-year Jubilee. Think about the anniversary of detaching from the gold standard. And since 1930, when we created the Federal Reserve, they've been just destroying the system. Cash is trash. It has only value because you say it does. Oh, and you got a pay raise? Congratulations. Well, guess what? Your pay raise you just got and the minimum wage going up didn't even beat inflation. So you did not get a pay raise. If you know the game, you can't be played. You did not get a pay raise. You got a pay raise, and guess what? Gas prices went from $1.67 to $3.37 to $4.47 in some places. So you did not get a pay raise. You actually got a pay decrease. Wake up, Warriors. Understand the game. So that's all I got for you today. Click the link down below, description down below. That's the only original Instagrams for Coach JV and Kevin Anytime. There's no other Instagrams out there. There's tons of fake ones. Number 2, you can join our private Warrior Academy, our free Discord, our Facebook group. And if you're an influencer and you want to get your knowledge into a business, you can go to my Instagram page and join the waiting list for the pre-launch for our new company, Uncommon 1%. We appreciate you. We love you. Everything's in my Instagram page in the link. Everything you need to be successful. Warriors, rise. Get your shit together. Make sure you share this with family members. At least allow them to open up their awareness. Let's get after it, Warriors.